I'm Erik Norlander, one of the designers of the new UNO Synth Pro. The UNO Synth Pro is a powerful musical instrument and production tool for the 21st century artist. It's able to recreate a massive number of historical analog flavors in a super compact, ultra-portable design. This is thanks to an advanced analog architecture with 3 discrete continuous shape oscillators into a dual filter design, going into leading-edge, studio-quality IK effects. Okay, this all sounds great, of course, but beyond the specs, I want to give you some insight into our actual vision for the product. First, a brief history. In the 1960s, Bob Moog created these wonderful analog modular synthesizers using mostly discrete electronics. They sounded absolutely amazing, like nothing anyone had ever heard before. And they were enormous. Going into the 70s, synthesizers became more portable, with instruments like the Mini Moog and the VCS3. Not too long after, a guy named Dave Rossum and his SSM company designed the first integrated circuits for synthesizers, microchips, that went into such legendary instruments as the original Prophet 5. At the end of the 70s, Doug Curtis began his line of CEM Curtis chips that populated many classic synths of the 1980s, including the Oberheim OBX-A and Matrix 12. The Matrix 12 was particularly notable for its introduction of a digitally controlled modulation matrix, where almost any source, such as an envelope or LFO, could be routed to almost any destination, such as an oscillator, filter, or VCA. Fast forward about 13 years to the end of the 90s, and this is where I got involved in my first analog synthesizer design, as part of the Alesis Andromeda team. The Andromeda not only had custom oscillator and filter chips and a highly programmable modulation matrix, it also brought something a bit revolutionary to the synth world, a dual filter configuration. First, a 2-pole state variable filter based on the Oberheim SEM, and then a 4-pole transistor ladder low-pass filter based on Bob Moog's famous design. This dual filter configuration allowed the Andromeda to create the familiar tones of essentially any previous analog synth, as well as going into new uncharted territory. But we took it even farther than that. In addition to the mod matrix and dual filters, the Andromeda also had an analog overdrive effect, plus digital modulation, delay, and reverb effects, based on the famous Alesis outboard effects processors. We also included a sequencer and arpeggiator with parameters that could be saved per preset. Now you can clearly see the heritage of the UNO Synth Pro. We've taken the legacy of these great synthesizers and packed that legacy into a modern, highly portable, and affordable package. The UNO Synth Pro has dual filters. First, the original UNO Synth 2-pole state variable filter with its high-pass and low-pass modes. And then second, a new SSI chip designed by the same Dave Rossum that designed the original SSM chips in the 70s. The 2 filters can be run in series or parallel and in or out of phase. This gives you 24 possible filter modes. The sound of the filters is massive, as only real analog can truly provide. The UNO Synth Pro also has a 16-part modulation matrix where you can route nearly any source to any destination for true modular synth functionality right inside this deceptively powerful little box. Another echo from the past on the UNO Synth Pro, you'll find 3 digital effect slots for modulation, delay, and reverb, all using IK's industry-leading DSP effects. There's also an aggressive analog overdrive circuit that can go from subtle saturation to screaming distortion. And of course, there's the sequencer and arpeggiator. The sequencer can have up to 64 steps per preset, and each step can automate over 80 synth parameters in addition to just the notes. The UNO Synth Pro takes the very best of the past to give you the production tools for the future. This is our vision for the instrument. We hope you'll create some amazing music with it.